Well, hello. I'm Tom Sinclair, coming to you with another episode of Streaming Idiots. I'm trying to be a little lower key. Last week I just exploded onto the screen because I was so excited about so much stuff. And this week I'm a week of older and wiser, shall we say. But exciting news. I want to get to some of it right off the bat, and then I'll show you some of it in just a minute. What shall we go with first? Facebook has announced their live video where you can send your live stream, whatever it might be, to Facebook, and they've opened that up to all sorts of folks. And so that's going to include those folks that use vMix. So we'll talk about that. Today's broadcast is being brought to you by, well, actually it's being brought to you with using two PCs for the broadcast. Now, you know I've always been the proponent of one guy with one PC can do one awesome broadcast. So I still believe that. So if you're out there and you have said, Tom, I believe that, I want to do one guy, one PC, one awesome broadcast, I'm with you. And I don't know if today's setup is going to be a permanent setup, but we're using two PCs for today's setup. And so we'll get that in just a second. Also want to talk a little bit about vMix, Ndi, and Skype, and how to make all those play nice together. And then we'll probably talk a little bit in the show about NAB. Charles, good to see you here. Let's see if there's anybody else in chat that's popped in. Rich is here. All right. All these guys sitting on the back row because they got here late, so we'll have to chastise them later. But let's talk a little bit about Facebook. Using vMix 7's new, what do we call this thing? We call it a web browser feature. We're going to bring in the actual Facebook page. And this is what the Facebook page is. And the URL is facebook.com. And I guess I could post that somewhere, couldn't I? Facebook.com/Facebook-media/get-started/live. And I'll post that somehow as an overlay for the Wirecast folks, and I'll put it here in the chat room here in just a second. Let's put that in chat so you guys can read along here. And, you know, a hat tip to Andrew for coming up this. He posted this in the Facebook, in the vMix forum this morning. And I am just going to use, let's see if we can drag, there we go. I don't know if that's going to be big enough for you guys to see, but the prerequisites of this are pretty, some easy, some not easy. Number one, in order to stream live on Facebook, you have to have a Facebook page that is called a verified page. And that's a process that Facebook goes through with you to make sure you are who you say you are. They're obviously trying to keep the riffraff like me out of this because they refused my first verification request. I'd hoped to be able to stream today's show to Facebook, but they said, we got to have better documentation than what you sent us. In order to do a verified Facebook page, they want to know, and this is for a business now, they want to see a copy of your articles of incorporation, or they want to see an invoice with your name on it, or something official. And there's a whole process. You can click the How to Become Verified link and go into that. But once you're verified, the process is really, it doesn't seem to be that much more difficult than, say, YouTube, because you're going to go through a process, a create button, and they're going to give you a URL and a key. And using vMix's stream to RTMP server, you can do that. Now, you can also do it with according to the folks at Facebook, with OBS, Wirecast, Livestream, XSplit, FFmpeg separately. So I'm thinking if it'll do FFmpeg separately, that means it's going to do VidBlaster and vMix, because both of those use FFmpeg as their streaming engines. So if you want to do Facebook live stream in your Facebook page, you can do that with vMix. And again, hat tip to Andrew for showing us how to do that. And we'll try to do that, probably not next week, because next week we're going to be streaming from Las Vegas, but maybe after that. So, Facebook Live, vMix, Wirecast, VidBlaster, XSplit, OBS, live stream. My guess is anybody that can do a stream can stream to live stream. Now, Wirecast announced yesterday that they have built in, embedded in for them, the ability to do the Facebook stream. My guess is that it's just a matter of coming up with some coding, and that'll be added to vMix pretty soon. vMix has got, I don't know, a dozen or so presets for different content delivery networks, and I suspect it'll be as easy as adding Facebook to that list. So, good deal. If you're into Facebook, that will be fun. Let's see, where did we want to look at next? Oh, yeah, I brought this up, so I may as well show you. This is the Telestream blog, where they're saying you can stream to Facebook live directly from Wirecast. So that was the big announcement yesterday. Probably the other big announcement from Telestream is something called Game Show. And Game Show looks to be pretty cool. It is, kind of like Wirecast in an XSplit package that would allow you to stream your game, but with the ability to use some templates and add some widgets to the stream, and then be able to edit it while you're live. So for Wirecast users, the Game Show will be a great way to do kind of a video game only. Not video game only, but intended for video games. But the real news in this is the way you pay for it. And you can buy it, let's see if we can go to that link, on a subscription. So you can buy a 1-month subscription, a 3-month subscription, or a year subscription. So if you're not interested in a long-term relationship, you can sample it and see if it's something you like, which I think is a really good policy. And for folks that are doing gaming, where we know that gaming is, well, we don't know it, but I'm imagining that gaming is something that's going to be done by folks that are younger than me and probably have less of a budget for those kinds of things, to be able to chunk out $9 a month. That's $2.25 a week to be able to stream their games live might be really cool. So we may see some other uses from that, and that is from Telestream, called Game Show, and the URL is gameshow.net. So that's pretty cool. The vMix has changed their website, and now the NDI version of vMix, vMix 17, is the official release. So if you download the official release right there for a 60-day trial, you will download version 17 with the NDI in it. And if you are intimidated by NDI, then don't worry about it, because you don't have to use it if you don't want to. But there's something that you need to know, and I didn't set up a screen cap on this, so let me do that. Or maybe I do have a screen cap. Let's see. What I need is a screen cap of the whole screen. Did I do that? Yeah, here we go. So let's go to this, and I want to show you in the top right-hand corner is the settings menu, and on the settings menu is, in the left-hand side, one of these categories is called External Output /NDI. And so this is going to be stuff that your PC has the ability to send to as an output. One of the things that you can send as an output is NDI. And so currently, this PC is configured to send all recordings, all external outputs, and all other outputs, make those available as NDI outputs, and all audio outputs make available as NDI outputs. Notice that the cameras and audio inputs are not checked, nor is external 2 checked. And this is some playing I was doing earlier with vMix and NDI and Skype. And so I was sending video, basically the return video from the show, out over NDI to a second PC, and we'll talk about that in just a second. But if you're not going to use NDI, go ahead and turn these off, because they do use up a small amount of resources. And when you turn them off, it will tell you to click OK, and you'll have to reset your PC when you do that. So we're not going to do that right now. So if you've got vMix 17 and you're not going to use NDI, go ahead and turn off those features. Now, the other way to use NDI is if you have another PC on the same network and you want to have a gigabit network, you can go to the Ndi Desktop Capture on the input page, and it'll bring up all the different outputs from other PCs that might be available. So you can see here, there's a second PC attached to this list called ESB, Eastern Shore Broadcasting Skype 1. And there's a output called vMix output, which is the Skype on that one, and also 2 other outputs that are blacked because they are audio. Really, there ought to be some sort of little icon or something in these windows to indicate there's something other than black, because black can also mean that that the PC on the other end is not able to send that, whatever it is, video or audio. In this case, these are all live. So we'll X out of that. So if you're not doing NDI, make sure you go ahead and turn it off up in settings. And if you don't add any inputs, then you don't have to worry about NDI. The other really cool feature that has been added to vMix 17, and this is not a vMix 17 review, but it's kind of just a tidbit. The one that I like is the Ptz Cam option. So we've got the Ptz Cam, and you can see I've got it over in preview over here, and I can set up a shot, and as I do that in the preview window, it will go ahead and tell the camera to go to that preset. And I think I've got 3 different presets here. So we'll go to this next preset, and you can see the preset down below. Oops, right about there, turned yellow. And I'm going to go to the one to the right of it, and it will show you the wide shot of the studio today. And so that's built into vMix now, which is really, really cool. But let's talk a little bit about what we're doing today. And I'm going to go back to this shot right here, because it shows the ASUS ROG laptop. ROG is Republic of Gamers, so this is a big, beefy laptop, and I mean big. I mean, it's heavy. It's not a good laptop for travel. I've traveled with it, and it's a pain in the tail. But it does have NVIDIA graphics, and it does have a pretty hefty processor, and I've got it connected to my gigabit network here in the studio today. And so what I'm doing from vMix, where this camera is attached, I'm taking the whole production here, and I'm sending the production. This output shot that you see is being picked up. Well, actually, you can see it over my shoulder right there. Oops, right about there. That is this shot. And the audio from this stream is also being picked up as part of that. And I don't know if you can see the 2 little red lights down here. One is the record light, the record light and the stream light. So this is doing the recording and streaming. And so here on my production PC, my CPU is, 30, 35%, 40%, well under 50, which allows me now the luxury of bringing in Skype callers, setting up lots of screen captures, kind of disregarding CPU problems or CPU usage or things that can cause problems. Now remember, when you get up to about that 70% CPU use is when you can expect to have little gremlins sneak in. For me, the gremlins are generally audio gremlins. That is, they cause my audio to have little pops in it or crackles or other little anomalies in the audio. For other folks, it may be video, it may be skips in the recording, it may be problems with the stream, but let's see, let me get my shot queued up here. Here we go. Let's fade that one back in. But for today's purposes, I'm expecting, assuming that this machine over here isn't peaking out on CPU, and I tested it before and it didn't. We'll check it here in just a second. Can we pick up its screen? No, because I've shut down the NDI output on this PC. But let's just see. Yeah, Task Manager says it's about 44%. So, you know, with everything we're doing here, if we were doing it all on one PC, we probably would be exceeding 70%. And we don't want to go there. So we won't. So we're defying the one PC, one guy, one PC pledge, and basically one guy, two PCs pledge. And when we start bringing in Skype, we'll be doing that from a third PC and or a fourth PC. I've got two other PCs that I've kind of built with spare parts that I wanted to see if they would work as Skype PCs. One of the things that I have run into with NDI, to talk about NDI for just a second, is that NDI is pretty dang picky about the hardware that it is expected to run on. My Dell Inspiron AMD dual-core PC would not run anything NDI. All of the NDI apps crashed immediately. Just wouldn't happen. I was here on my production PC trying to gain access to some of the resources on that laptop, and all I got, you saw the little black boxes before. All I got was just a string of black boxes. It knew there were inputs there. It had the names for them, but there was no video or audio transferring. It just was not compatible. Now that was a Windows 7 PC with a 2.2 dual core processor, 2 gigs of RAM maybe. Yeah, 2 gigs of RAM. So not much power. I think an ATI Radeon 1280 graphics adapter built in. So not a lot of horsepower, not a lot of GPU or CPU horsepower there. Apparently NDI really wants NVIDIA. Now, coincidentally, vMix really wants NVIDIA graphics. So there's good. So if you're building something based on the vMix specs that are on the vMix website, or if you have me build something for you, they will be built with NVIDIA graphics, which now has the added benefit of fitting right into what NDI wants. The other PCs that I've got that I've built with spare parts are both second generation i7s, 2600Ks, not overclocked, 3.4 normal. One is using the onboard graphics. I think it's the 3000 level Intel HD graphics. The other is using an inexpensive capture card. Do I have it in my notes from last week? I think I had it on that graphic from last week. It was the, no. Oh yeah, here we go. AMD Radeon HD 6500. And I got a warning with the 6500, and most of the apps ran, but the HD 3000 graphics on the other PC, none of it would run. And that's under NDI. Now, let me make a distinction between the NDI apps and the NDI implementation in vMix, which is much more forgiving, because I'm able to use vMix to do to capture a screen in that PC that, which one was that? I've forgotten now. the Intel HD 3000, the one with the graphics on that, running vMix on that one, doing a screen capture there, that vMix output, making it available through vMix on NDI, was able to pick up that here on this PC. In fact, I think it's even available as an output right now. Let's see. Let's switch back to this screen for just a second. We'll add input, NDI capture, and we can see that, yep, there it is right there. And I'll show you what it looks like. It came across pretty well. And that's nothing but, whoa! And we've picked up some audio there, so let's turn the audio off of that one. That threw me for a loop. I wasn't expecting that audio. That was one of the things I've been playing with this morning. And had hoped to get that ready for showtime and was not able to get that ready to show you guys today, but I will hopefully in 2 weeks. But the point of that little rabbit trail there was to illustrate and to say that even though NDI with the NDI apps may not be able to do something, you may be able to use vMix as a NDI application and accomplish something on a lower powered, non-compliant PC that NDI wouldn't work with. The vMix implementation of NDI might work with. So, for example, here's how I would be doing it. If I were a one PC guy and suddenly I could dig out a second PC somewhere, and I wanted to do Skype, I would set up that second PC with Skype and with the free version of vMix, and that's called vMix Basic SD, SD for standard definition. That limits you to 4 inputs. You remember what I just showed you a few minutes ago. Let me show you this shot. Where is it? Right there. We'll cut to it, and that's a good look right there of all the different inputs that I've got going on in this broadcast. Tons of them. Some of them are not active right now. Some of them are just graphics. But you can tell that I'm using a lot. The free version, the basic SD version, allows you 4 inputs. 3 of them can be cameras, 1 of them can be an overlay. But I think, and I want to test it, I think you can use that free version of vMix to capture the Skype and send it to your production PC, and to capture from your production PC the audio and video to send back to your Skype caller. The only thing that might be required would be something like virtual audio cables to make that one link connection from vMix on your Skype PC to the Skype to the Skype program itself. Now, I know you can do it with a physical connection, just run a wire from your mixer, but we're trying to do something here using all the NDI resources and make it as wireless as possible. And that one little virtual audio cable may be the piece of the puzzle that we don't yet have. Now, having said that, I will say that New Tech has got at least one piece of NDI that has not been released yet. At least it hadn't when I looked yesterday. It may be available today. And it's called NDI Transmit. And again, a hat tip to Martin Kay for alerting me to what Transmit is going to do. And Transmit, think of Transmit like well, if you're a VidBlaster guy, think about Transmit as a VVD, a virtual video device. That is an output from one piece of software that a second piece of software sees as a webcam input or a camera input. And so, in theory, using the vMix Transmit, you're going to be able to have a virtual video source for programs like Skype, and that would include any other programs like Skype, implementations of WebRTC, GoToMeeting, things like that. So we'll be doing some more testing with that, and I'm not trying to keep you from buying vMix, but for folks that are using Wirecast, VidBlaster, OBS, Livestream, XSplit, things like that as their production software, this free version of vMix may be just what you need to bring in that Skype video from a remote PC and to send a remote video back. The times that I've been on Skype calls with folks that are doing broadcasts and I am the guest, that is that I don't have my great production, well, not that it's that great, but I don't have all the ability to do and see the production in front of me. The times that I've been with that, getting the video back to me has been a real issue. I was on one call, on one show where I was the guest, where I didn't see any of the video. I just had to have an idea in my head what was going on their screen, because I didn't get any video back. I just got, I don't remember what it was I got back, but I didn't get anything significant back. I was on another show where somebody had done a Tom Sinclair fix, and they basically said, okay, well, we'll just take a webcam and we'll put the webcam out so that the webcam can see what the production is, and we'll feed you back the audio a different way with the cable. And so, I was watching a picture of a monitor in order to get the return video. And, as a guest, that was okay. But I would like to see a more elegant solution that didn't involve a bunch of extra cameras and cables and stuff here in the studio. Now, again, yes, it's still virtual connections that you got to make, and you may have to make out a map in order, well, that wasn't my map, but anyway, you get the idea. You may have to make out a map of how all this stuff goes together so that if something breaks, you know where to go, or at least where to start looking for it to fix it, and you know where you are. Getting some great comments in the chat room about this. And somebody got Ndi Desktop Capture to run on Linux. Good work. Very good. And Jill's late. Jill, you're going to have to give refreshments here in the post show because you're late today. But that's okay. Anyway, that was my whole diatribe about PCs and NDIs. It's going to be really exciting in the next couple of weeks to put all the pieces together. And, it's like, here it is again, the doggone same analogy of Legos. We had our Lego set, and we were learning how to put our Legos together. And somebody's giving us another extra added Lego set. But this one's got, it's got some wings in it and some wheels and some doors that open and things like that. So it's going to make us, rethink how we use the rest of our Legos in order to incorporate some of this new Lego stuff into it. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And you guys are going to come up with some great ideas of how to use it. I mean, Giles right there is already using it with Linux, and I'm sure it wasn't intended to be used with Linux. We're about out of time here, and I do want to respect your time because we went way over last week. Let's talk just a second about the NAB conference next week, National Association of Broadcasters, going out in Las Vegas. If you're there, I would love it if you would find a way to contact me, and we can meet up, and I'll buy you a cup of coffee. Carl, welcome. Glad you're here. Better late than not at all. So that's an open invitation to look me up. You can go to my website, easternshorebroadcasting.com, and send me a note there to the contact page. I'll get emails there while I'm out there. So if you're there and want to meet up, that would be delightful. I would love to do that. If you're not there and you've got something in particular you'd like me to take a look at and come back and report on this show, shoot me an email, tom@easternshorebroadcasting.com, or go to the contact page, and we can do that. And I'd be interested to know what you're interested in. I already have plans to go, obviously, talk with the folks at vMix, talk with the folks at Magwell, Blackmagic, New Tech, PTZ Optics, I've approached the folks at DeCast, but they say, well, they'll be there, but they don't have a booth. So I was a little disappointed in that, but you know, that we all have to make choices. StreamStar is a good example. Yeah, Jeff Adams is working with StreamStar now. I don't know if you know Jeff, but he, and I've never met him, but I hope to meet him down there, over there. He appears to be a really good guy. And I've already got some good meetings set up with some different folks with some radio stations and TV stations that want to know more about vMix and how they can incorporate this kind of cool stuff into what they're doing. So that will be a lot of fun. Oh, and of course, don't forget that next Wednesday's show will be live from NAB on the vMix stage. So same time, but not same channel. If you watch this, well, I guess the only way to watch this show is to go to easternshorebroadcasting.com, unless you watch it on Skype. So if you, oh boy, can I get this? Bear with me just a second. We are just going to have to do something quick and dirty here. Bear with me, and it's going to be vmix.com/live. I think that's it. Boy, I hope that's it. Well, let's just pretend like that's it. And so, vmix.com/live. I believe that's how you get to the show. So if you want to watch next week, you're going to have to go to vmix.com/live, and they'll have a chat room there, and they'll have me, and this is at the regular time, 3 o'clock Eastern, noon on the West Coast, and that includes Las Vegas. I think 8 o'clock in England. You guys help me out here. And if anybody from Australia is still in the chat, if you can tell me what time that would be in Australia, because I know you guys go in and out of daylight savings time, and that and somebody's given me a message here that I will have to read in just a second because it requires me to think. 8 p.m. in the UK. Thank you, Martin. And I think it's 5 a.m. in Australia. But heck, you guys in Australia, 6 p.m. in Belgium. Thank you, Rudy. Andrew says too early in Australia. Too early in Australia. But it will be recorded, and we'll upload it. I don't know if, you know, I've heard that the hotel internet speeds are just really horrid. So I will try to get this uploaded next Wednesday night. Ovanas says prime time in Germany. All right. And also at vmix.live, vmix.com/live, during the course of the week, I think starting Monday, but Tuesday for sure, they are going to have a live stream every day, all day. There is a schedule. Wow, we have gone just way over time, sorry, and I should have been more prepared with this. What is their NAB schedule? Yeah, here it is. If you go to vmix.com/live, it will show you the schedule, and they're going to have the vMix. Oh, the vMix Fun Time Live show is Sunday at, what time zone is this stuff? This is, okay, this is, so Sunday at 1 o'clock Pacific time. So that's going to be 4 o'clock Eastern on Sunday afternoon will be the vMix Fun Time Live show. So that will definitely be worth watching. And then Monday, April 18th, starting at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, vMix will be doing live. Well, I don't know if they're live, but I think they're going to be live, but they probably will include video too. Anyway, go to vmix.com/live. You can look at the schedule and figure it out, but it's got, you know, a full day of Monday, a full day Tuesday, a full day Wednesday, a half a day Thursday. Going to be some great shows, and I commend it to you highly. But that's where to go to watch me next week at the regular time, and it'll have chat room in it too. So you've been warned. Well, that brings us to the end of another crazy show. Sorry about this. This is, you know, we're supposed to be polished and professional, but it's I can't be. And fortunately, I don't have somebody around me forcing me to stay on script. And so we get off script and we go do all this other stuff, and it's fun. You know, hopefully you've learned something, get something out of it. If not, don't watch. But hey, if you are watching on YouTube, please subscribe, because we've come to the end of the show. You've watched the whole thing. You may as well subscribe. That way you'll get a notice of when we post a new show, and you'll and we'll be on your list. So when I go to my list of subscribers and see, you know, who's posted a recent video, it'll pop up. So I commend that to you. If you're watching live, hang out for the post show. Jill will be bringing refreshments, since Jill was unwise enough to announce that she came late. Anyway, I think that's it. Thanks, folks. We'll see you next week from Las Vegas. Behave.